our longest trusted English newspaper since 1898. Now available digitally. Computer, order the Manila Times Digital Edition. Subscribed. Get the Manila Times Digital Edition for less than 2 pesos and 50 centavos per day when you sign up for 1 year. The Manila Times, news source of choice. Trusted greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to the voice of the times this Monday, May 9, 2022, for today's editorial, Prayer for Honest and Peaceful Elections. Now that the festive and often heated election campaigns have concluded, the country's collective attention turns to the next chapter of the political season, Election Day. Regardless of political affiliation, on this day, every eligible voter is simply a Filipino exercising his or her democratic right to choose the country's next cohort of leaders. Despite political differences, there should be consensus on wanting clean and honest elections. Passions ran high over the past few months, but that should be kept in check now to avoid confrontations or even violence today and in the coming weeks. After all, the enemy is not any of the political camps that oppose your own. The actual peril includes poverty, various threats to economic development, and even the lingering COVID-19 pandemic. The country has enough to worry about. As usual, people were caught up in intense rhetoric and even quibbled over silly things. Some also questioned scientific surveys with reputable track records, and at the same time promoted spurious metrics like Google Trends and unscientific sampling, just to compensate for their Beck's poor ratings. But we do agree with the doubters when they said that the only polling number that matters will be the count of votes cast today. Soon, people should mend fences, so to speak, with their friends and family. Elections are seasonal, but relationships with our loved ones should be evergreen. Now is the time to look for more common aspirations. For instance, we all love our country and want better lives for our family. Our differences matter less and are not worth the aggravation. People should let go of their grudges. Holding on to such bitterness is like having millstones around one's neck, and keeping them is as senseless as it is unbearable over time. Of course, Philippine politics is notoriously dirty, and elections are usually marred by cheating and even violence. But hope springs eternal, as the saying goes, and today is as good as any to change that pattern. The past need not be our future. Canvassing and transition. As every Filipino knows, the canvassing of votes and proclamation of the winners come next after today. In the past, this stage of the process has been plagued with controversy. As we said in previous editorials, canvassing should be automated, especially because the work involved happens beyond the watchful eyes of poll observers. In contrast, political parties and several candidates will have watchers in every precinct today. By automating the canvassing, that process could be completed more efficiently, and results could be available in a matter of hours, rather than days or weeks. That, on top of other safeguards already in place, enhances our defense against cheating. For now, though, we simply have to make do with what we have. We hope that vigilance and the public's deep desire to protect the sanctity of votes will be enough to tide us over until the next opportunity to push for electoral reforms. Even with the improvements suggested here, the election outcome will not satisfy everyone. Where there are winners, there are also losers. In the end, what matters most is a credible democratic process, where the transition of power from one administration to the next is orderly and peaceful. Peaceful transitions are the norm in mature democracies, but as the world saw last year in the United States, no one should take things for granted. In 2021, frustrated supporters of the losing presidential candidate stormed the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to stall the certification of electoral college votes and overturn the results. Even now, Americans seem divided over their last elections. Closer to home in Myanmar, Asia's icon of democracy has been ousted from office and imprisoned on dubious charges. The military refuses to accept the results of the last elections there, and since then, that country has plunged into civil war. These examples remind us that democracy is fragile and requires constant care. Filipinos can do better. In fact, we should. For starters, we need to ensure that votes are cast freely and that they are correctly counted. And that's the editorial for Monday, May 9, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to our digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.